What's the Mbappe special?
For example, nothing. For the moment, nothing. But
things have happened since my last video on Rolevote, and I decided to make a video instead of a post because it would get more attention. As some of you may or may not have seen, me and More Mysterious Man have collabed and made a Google document on Rolevote, calling him out for the stuff he's done over the years of owning TUI. This document covered many of Rolevote's actions, like how he starts drama, then victimizes himself, the extreme monetization of TUI and the blatant scamming, his usage of religion to gain players, and the favoritism as well as his associations with bad actors. It also covers the incident that he had with the addition of a female invincible skin. This document will be linked in the description of the video. Now, let's get into why I made this video. Despite its small traction, the document has managed to somehow reach Rolevote, or at least a staff in his Steam, and they've written a counter document responding to what me and More Mysterious Man said in our document. And this document might genuinely be the worst thing you'll ever read. The document starts off by addressing the female invincible issue, and it just repeats stuff we already know. We know Rolevote didn't do any research on the GIF, and that he apologized after discovering where it came from. But it still does not address why Rolevote decided to argue at first about it, and how he banned the people who called him out on it. Also, for some reason, they go completely off topic by bringing up things like Agartha and neo-Nazi propaganda as examples of sending stuff you may not know the origin of. In the document, we can see Rolevote saying that me and More Mysterious Man covered up the original announcement to make it look like the GIF contains a nude person, despite the fact we clearly state that the GIF was of a female invincible with wide hips and tight clothing, keyword clothing. The second thing that's covered in the document is how Rolevote used religion to gain players and increase the CCU of TUI. For a quick explanation of what CCU is, depending on the CCU you get each day, you get Robux. They start off by saying that Rolevote's usage of religion had nothing to do with increasing the player count, despite the fact there's clear proofs of Rolevote using Jesus to get players to join TUI. Also, they completely throw their first argument out of the window, as they admit that the giveaway of ancient mugs was to increase the player count, because he quote-unquote wanted to spread the gospel. Rolevote is basically a fisherman. He throws out a net with Jesus and valuable items giveaways as bait, then waits for players to fall for the bait, and he reels them in. Also, Rolevote claims that he ruined his economy for this. But if ancient mugs were given away for free, they weren't guaranteed to give you a troll, and were most likely going to fail. And if you stored ancient mugs, it would also give you the same outcome of it not being 100%. Even if you bought them or got them from a giveaway during an event. The third point brought up in the document is how Rolevote sparked drama with other communities. I have genuinely no words for this because of how incomplete this segment is. Rolevote still does not issue a proper apology to both communities. He does not address how he victimizes himself, and he doesn't acknowledge how he banned developers from UUI and TC for the sole reason that they worked there. The fourth point brought up is the monetization of TUI. In this segment, they explain that TUI is Rolevote's way of earning money, which yes, I can understand, but it's no excuse to blatantly scam teenagers by having them buy things that are overpowered or limited for hundreds of real-life money. Rolevote also explains that he never got a dime from the merch he sold, and that he was scammed. I can also understand this argument, that if you sell things on a random sketchy website, it's most likely a scam. But if you're not 100% sure that the things you sell are not a scam, then that's entirely your fault. He also doesn't address the advertising of a Trollina body pillow to his community full of minors. He also brings up that people who bought trolls that were deleted did get compensation, and all they had to do was provide proof that they owned the troll in a deadline of 1 to 2 weeks. Something I don't understand in that argument is that Rolevote says they could claim the troll in a deadline of 1 to 2 weeks. But how are you supposed to claim the troll if it's deleted? He also does not address the Patreon he made people pay for after he pretended to quit Discord. The last point brought up is his association with bad actors. He first brings up Skunky, a 16-year-old ex-TUI developer and moderator who manipulated an animator into animating for them so that they could take credits, and also had sexual role plays with a person that was under 18. He says that he banned Skunky after being told what they did, but keep in mind that it was known by Rolevote for a while what Skunky had done, and he had even banned them for it. But he went ahead and let them back into the community until July 2026, and banned them after more mysterious man's video. The second person that he brings up is DRX. I don't need to introduce DRX as the document just introduces him for me. Rolevote says that the reason he did not tell on DRX was because it could bring danger to him and his family, which is something I can understand. But when that situation happened, Rolevote was clearly told his name would not be involved in the police report against DRX. So how could DRX ever find out it was Rolevote who told on him? There's also a statement from Rolevote at the end, which I will let you guys just read for yourselves. Now, I also want to give my own statement and response to Rolevote on his document.
Motherfucker, that's called a job!
Rolevote's response is a generational blunder. He was called out on the fact he doesn't make proper apologies, and he does exactly that in his counter document. He was called out on the fact he victimizes himself, and he does exactly that in his counter document in the end by talking about his life outside of TUI and how he's just trying to make some money to pay for rent and other needs, because things in the UK are apparently more expensive than in America. Despite America being notorious for being extremely expensive right now. He goes on saying how he just wants to work on his game without stress, and wants the drama he started himself to stop, and that stress will trigger anxiety and meltdowns, which is just him victimizing himself even more. A lot of things in the document are excused by the fact that Rolevote was ignorant and jumped the gun. Rolevote is an adult with responsibilities and a popular game. Any adult would know that the stuff he's doing is extremely stupid, and that he actually needs to think before doing things like anyone else would. Rolevote is acting like a man-child, victimizing himself and taking quote-unquote breaks. Breaks being an excuse to wait for the situation to gloss over, considering he just comes back after like 2 days. First, it was the creation of a Patreon because he was quitting Discord. The Patreon was deleted, and Rolevote went right back to Discord. Then it was the long break, which was also a total lie, since Rolevote was just lurking in the TUI server under his new username Tricky Crafts, and he was still actively on Discord, shown by how a friend of his that was mod at the time showed him and Rolevote on a Discord call. Then his most recent breaks during the situation are total jokes. First, he said he was going to take a break from the community, then said he was only going to chat on Sundays, then went right back to chatting like normal. And his most recent break was him leaving because the drama was a quote-unquote tragedy to him. But he came back like 2 days after and started teasing his new game, TUR. My goal with all of this is to get people to realize that Rolevote is a shitty person and needs to be deplatformed, or needs to take some kind of accountability for all of this. Keep in mind that I sometimes make posts on this channel when new things happen. Nightmare out.